attention.
That's
That game. That game was so bad to me, and it just was such a lack. And this is of something that we've talked about with this team in the past. It's just there's these nights where it just doesn't seem like they have a lack of or sense of urgency.
They don't have the nitrous.
A sense of like maybe not even a sense of the moment. Is that too big? But just like playing on Saturday night, like
that's
good
against Boston.
How much was it for a lower bowl ticket on Saturday night? Do you think?
Oh gosh,
$300-400.
you know what? Yeah, you're going to spend. Yeah, against Vancouver, you're probably going to spend $300-400.
And you might. They're booing them off the ice. I'm like, you know what I'd be doing if I was there, spent $500 on a ticket?
Yeah.
Probably would have been booing my ass off because it was an ugly game to watch.
Yeah.
And I just, you want a better effort against Vancouver.
Is it playing every day, catching up to them a little bit? Is that part of it?
I think it catches up to everybody over 82 games. And like, I'm not going to sit here and build in excuses, but it has to be said that they've already played 10 back-to-back games. It's not just them, but Vegas could look really bad against the Islanders the other night, and there's some teams now going through it. Tampa Bay's had a recent bad run before turning it around now. Florida's had a bad run. Like, there's good teams that can get beat.
Now, there is the frustration that because of the things you're talking about, you would have loved to see them grab that opportunity and get some distance atop the standings there. But it has felt like if the big guys aren't playing well, you're not going to get the offense and you're not going to win.
Yep.
And, right now, I'd say that top line didn't play well for a couple games in a row, or at least, didn't have the things that make them special. They're kind of ho-hum. And, yeah, that results in a loss. One other thing stands out. Go ahead.
No, I am fighting the perception of what this team actually is. Like it's, they won 5 in a row, but even in some of those games, they didn't
they snuck
look particularly great. 1-goal games against the Isles, against the Flyers, and there's a lot of people beating down my door telling me that this team isn't actually that good, and I am fighting the perception of it.
Yeah. All right.
I am.
And maybe it's just starting to balance out a little bit here because there are some games that we've watched this year where you're like, there's a lot of things going right for them right now. They are just they can't help but stand in the right place at the right time and block a shot
Or get a save.
And it went along for like 6 weeks.
They should probably have fewer points than they do.
They probably should.
Yeah.
And it's just right now, especially these last 2 games, even the Florida games. Right?
Yeah.
Where we're like, that's some bad hockey, man. They could have easily lost this one. If they had Samsonov, they would have lost it. We've said it half a dozen times already.
Right.
Well, now they're not getting that, like, Vezina goaltending. It's come down a notch here. They're not necessarily standing in the right spots, and they're not getting any bounces. They're not getting any breaks that they've gotten earlier. Maybe it's just starting to balance out a tad. And going back to Carolina, -6. Marner, Matthews, Nyes, I think, was -5.
Combined -17.
Listen, I don't even I can't ever recall I've been around this game a long time, even at the pro level. I can't ever recall seeing anybody -6 and being on the ice.
On a first-place team.
Being on the ice for 9 total shots on goal against your line and 5 go in.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do you know what the odds of that ever happening ever again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's just.
I don't think we've made a big deal, though, about like that minus whatever.
But people want to look at it and.
What
I
said after the game, I'll still say now. It's incredibly hard to be -6 in a hockey game.
It is so hard.
It doesn't happen very often.
So maybe it's starting to kind of come down to earth a little bit. Mm-hmm. And yes, you guys we talked about it last week. You guys were really hard on the fact that, Jake McCabe's out.
Yeah.
Okay. Jake McCabe's out.
It matters.
That guy has really become a key guy for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Mm-hmm. And I don't know where it's left the blue line. We know where it's left it. It's left it a lot more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And till he comes back, you're going to have to find a way to scramble right now.
I do have sort of 2 thoughts on this. One is that I've said this before on the show, I know, but I maintain the idea that the style they want to play, you just can't do. It involves all-out effort. Lanes, blocking shots, finishing checks, grinding. I just think if you play that style and you don't have your energy, effort, compete, whatever, it doesn't look good. So I think it can still work in the playoffs. And I think
JB, even like 5% off.
Yeah.
Like, we're not talking about a large margin here.
Right.
We're talking about just being off for like a split second.
Yeah. But my point is that to me is a good thing. Like, I think that in playoffs, you'll see that. Like, it'll look
See, I'm not
better.
sure.
I'm not sure either.
I'm not sure.
But I mean, if you're a Leaf fan,
and I only say that because it's so different than what they've been accustomed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked about this a little bit a few months ago. Like, you are on your best behavior training camp, October, November, but I cannot emphasize enough what a grind at the NHL level is going into February, March to play a certain style, a certain demand. Every night you try to be the most physical guy or finish checks.
Yeah.
And if it's
just not going to look good some
if
nights.
if it doesn't come natural to you, or you haven't done it in like the past 10 years of your career, but you're asked to do it now. And it's like, Pacioretty's a prime example. He's been phenomenal. Halfway through the season, that guy
couldn't have asked for more from him.
Couldn't ask for more.
Chug good.
I don't know how he's going to handle the next
slowing down, boys.
41 games.
It's slowing down.
And if, do you think he can rest or rejuvenate his batteries between now and April to get ready for 2 months of that every other night?
I don't know.
It's a big ask.
It is a big ask.
Doesn't look like he's going to be in the lineup tomorrow night against Dallas.
So
right.
I mean, it's going to get actually harder to play Craig Berube type of hockey. Try to win an Atlantic Division.
Yeah.
Right? Push hard. Every game matters. Give it your all. And then see what you have left in April.
Yeah, I also think that there's some perception about Craig Berube hockey and that this team is, like, they hit less than they did last year by the per game, whatever. Like, I think Craig Berube has changed some of the perception that, like, they're this, I don't know, wildly different system or something like that. Like, they're playing a very similar system. Berube just prioritizes, block that shot, finish that check. That's it, right? He grinds the players on an individual level.
And straight lines, pucks deep.
Yes, you'd rather
right?
pucks go deep for sure.
But the problem is, again,
maybe they should try that on the power play then.
Good point.
If you want to get a puck in deep, you better be on your toes to go get it back. And I think that's what's been the issue here.
Tough to be on your toes that
when
often.
you are off this 7%, and you are a split second late on a forecheck, well, then all you're going to do is dump it in, watch Quinn Hughes turn around, look over his shoulder 2 or 3 times, and there's one and done.
He must be the most frustrating guy in the world to play against, where you think you got him pinned deep, and he's just like squiggles by you somehow. And you're like, how the hell did that happen?
Squiggles is the best word you
How
could
did
use.
how did
He's
that
a
happen?
Squiggler out there.
But
All he does is
I've
that.
been a big fan of Craig Berube so far, but if it ain't working, change it up. Do something different. You can't keep dumping it into that blue
Quinn's
line
corner,
and watching them walk out on a red carpet.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. The one thing, that I consider myself a pretty in-depth analyst. I watch video and watch all the games. One thing that I never noticed that you brought to my attention is the team as a whole does not pass the puck particularly well. So I heard a lot of these guys' comments about disconnected. We were disconnected. We need to come up with a 5
said
minute
disconnected.
Yeah, Matthew said disconnected. So I went to Stathletes and checked out. They have some passing stats. Their expected goals passing. And first in the NHL is Edmonton, Colorado, Vegas. It's the
good teams.
Really good teams. And second last at 31st are the Leafs. Wow. And in what's the other category? Assisted high danger chances. The Leafs are 9th in the NHL in high danger chances. They get a lot. They're top 10 in that category. In assisted ones that are created by a pass, they're 29th. So they have guys that create them on their own, but they don't. Yeah. So to me, when they say this, I think it's true. I think they got a lot of shooters, a lot of guys who like to score.
But your two best centermen. Listen, I've been beating this down on you guys, and you look at me I've got a third eye.
But you make it about positional, and it's everywhere. It's Willie's not a shooter or a passer either. Nyes isn't a passer either. McMahon's not a passer either.
In the middle of the ice. Those have the
Yeah.
freedom to go left, right, but anywhere they want. The wingers don't. They don't.
Well, I mean, once they're out of their own zone, they do. They're all over the rink. They just don't pass it well either as a team. They don't have pass.
Tavares' strength, 6 feet around the net.
Of course.
It's not.
And
Austin-
in board battles, he's really good.
Yes.
Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin to Los Angeles Kings, possible deal with Toronto Maple Leafs. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmons, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmons' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. Stay tuned for updates to see if these trades come to fruition and how they might shape the future of Toronto and Los Angeles this season. In an interesting twist in the NHL trade market, new rumors are emerging about Chris Versteeg and Francois Beauchemin potentially being traded to the Los Angeles Kings. Sources indicate that the Kings, who have been one of the most active teams in recent weeks, are evaluating the possibility of bolstering their defense with Beauchemin, while Versteeg, who brings strong offensive capabilities, could be a key piece in a larger trade. This move becomes even more intriguing considering the Kings' surplus of offensive pieces available for trade, exactly what the Toronto Maple Leafs are looking for to strengthen their roster. It's speculated that with Versteeg included in the deal, the Leafs could be targeting a possible addition like Wayne Simmons, along with a mid-range draft pick. This move makes sense given Simmons' struggles this season, as he has yet to find his top form on the ice. To add more drama to the trade talk, there are even whispers that veteran defenseman Tomas Kaberle could be included, opening the door for a potential pursuit of Brayden Schenn. If completed, this move could have a significant impact on reshaping the Leafs lines and adding more depth to the team. The Kings' situation is complex, as they are in the midst of a transitional period. Their aging roster, which includes a core group that led them to several successful playoff campaigns in the past, has seen some struggles in recent seasons. While there's a clear need for defensive help, Los Angeles may also want to improve their offensive consistency in order to make a deep playoff push. The combination of Beauchemin's defensive reliability and Versteeg's offensive upside could help the Kings balance their lineup. From the Leafs' perspective, this potential deal is about retooling for the future. The team is in a position to compete, but they also need to solidify certain areas on the ice. Adding a player like Wayne Simmons could provide the grit and scoring touch that the team has been missing. Furthermore, acquiring a mid-range draft pick could help with future team-building efforts, as Toronto looks to remain competitive while still developing young talent. The inclusion of Kaberle in the trade package could be a strategic move for both teams. The veteran defenseman, who has been with the Leafs for a long time, has seen his role diminished in recent seasons. However, his experience and offensive abilities could be a valuable asset for Los Angeles, who could use a steady presence on the blue line to help their younger players develop. The talk surrounding Brayden Schenn's potential involvement in the deal adds an intriguing layer to the negotiations. Schenn, a versatile forward, has shown flashes of brilliance but has been inconsistent at times. If the Leafs are able to land him, it could be a great opportunity for both the player and the team to find success together. Schenn's physicality, two-way game, and leadership could be exactly what the Leafs need to bolster their forward group. While the trade market can be volatile and unpredictable, these rumors suggest that both the Kings and Leafs are preparing for significant changes. For Toronto, this could mark the beginning of a new era, with a focus on adding more experience and depth. For Los Angeles, the trade could be a chance to retool and address some of the weaknesses in their lineup, while still competing for a playoff spot this season. Of course, as with any trade rumors, it's important to remember that these discussions are fluid and can evolve quickly. There are many moving parts in these types of negotiations, and both teams will likely have to weigh their options carefully before making any final decisions. It's also possible that other teams could enter the fray, further complicating the situation. In the coming days, fans of both teams will be watching closely to see if any concrete moves are made. The NHL trade deadline is fast approaching, and teams are scrambling to position themselves for a successful postseason. Whether this rumored deal materializes or not, the possibility of a major trade between the Leafs and Kings will certainly keep fans on edge as the season continues to unfold. The trade talks involving Versteeg, Boschman, and potentially Simmons or Shen highlight the delicate balance that NHL teams must strike between immediate success and long-term growth. Both the Leafs and Kings are trying to find that balance, and this rumored deal could ultimately serve as a